Warning: the following chapter is coverage of partisan politics in the gaming sphere. While Lavistro tries to avoid politics, it cannot be helped that overreach from tourists of all political parties have, at times, stepped into gaming to grift or use as their platform to control culture to their moral and political sensibilities. Lavistro, Dragoncast, and Lavistro Plays do not give a flying fuck about your politics, right or left. Keep them at the door. The evidence presented is there for you to assess and judge for yourself. If the facts presented offend you, then perhaps you also agree games are not political and should not be used in political wars between two factions or tribes. Otherwise, you might be a tourist and a poser.
Let's talk about John Della Rose, also known as JDA. Whether you're a gamer, fan of comics, steampunker, or a sci fi fanatic, it seems like we all have some knowledge of John Della Rose. But who is John Della Rose exactly? And what is Fandom Pulse? Or more accurately, why should you care? Here, we will be going down a rabbit hole of a series of discussions regarding the identity of what John Della Rose says he is versus what his actions define what he truly is. For clarity, we'll be referring to John Della Rose as JDA. With all the controversies spanning various branches of nerdom, I can easily start with this 2018 chronicle of JDA's behavior. However, it is written from an SJW perspective. Yet, despite this, covering what damage JDA has done to the gaming, nerd, Christian, and Catholic communities, it is best to cover the recent past months regarding his figurehead in GoonerGate, Gay Panic, also known as Satanic Panic 2.0, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Fandom Pulse, and his inner echo chamber circle within. From there, omitting leftist narratives of homophobia, racism, and alt right accusations, we can see that there is some truth to behold, as there seems to be a pattern here spanning the years. Full disclosure: many Christians, gamers, content creators, including people of his tribe of right wing across nerdom, Christendom, and politics, have at many times come out and denounced JDA. And while I will credit these individuals, I will reference the majority of context regarding these topics from my own videos for my search of truth and testing all things holding to what is true in accordance to the Bible, many of which offer deep dives in their own right. Feel free to watch them of your own accord, as well as the other content creator videos I shall add in the tabs throughout the video. I am not claiming to be the sole champion or spearhead of the fight against JDA's lies and libel. There are many who have made many contributions, as you will see in this video. But I will instead use my experience and evidence primarily, as many have seen to have, quote, some friends, IRL and online, as well as evident in my videos that I, quote, see things on a different plane, or rather, have a unique perspective that I have come to accept as offering gaming news with a fierce precision. And since JDA claims to be a Christian, gamer, nerd, and is the co founder of Fandom Pulse, a so called journalism website on Substack that covers games, this dragon has focused his flames of sound to precisely cover JDA with the integrity it rightly deserves. But I digress. Some will still have feels throughout this video, but I did my best to state my objectivity in covering this topic. But let's continue. In the past 5 episodes of Dragoncast, I have covered JDA's isms, going from my pilot episode of Dragoncast, GoonerGate Holy War, Christians versus Pharisees, where I explained where he and other self-claimed Christians behave other than Christian, with historic and biblical references, showing the difference between Christian behavior and those using Christianity for a political and moral agenda. I want to point out that for most of my internet exposure, going as far back as being a mod for Hypnotic in February 2024, to the first episode of Lavistro Plays, I never once mentioned my Christian faith or atheistic past. Instead, I decided to let my actions define me and chose a Jesus at the well approach. It was not until GoonerGate's start, I believe, did I decide to come out as a Christian to denounce what I saw as false Christians, again, in accordance with the Bible. GoonerGate Holy War, Christians versus Pharisees, adds more context in its 4.5-hour duration due to the sensitive nature of the topic. Should you want to know more or expose me as a believer, or accuse me of grifting? Episode 3 of Dragoncast, Dark Age Controversies, I covered rumors of a gay Henry. While it doesn't mention JDA or Fandom Pulse, it does discuss the rumor, now confirmed, as an unforced and can be missed in playthroughs from playtesters. Again, feel free to look it up for more context or get me in a hypocritical gotcha. Or accuse me of grifting. In episode 4 of Dragoncast, Price of Political Activism in Games, I covered what I hope to be the final chapter of GoonerGate and the outcome. Discoveries of and hypocrisies exposed of individuals like JDA, as well as his alt-right Pokemon furry tweets going back to 2019, discovered by Savvy after his calls for censorship and crying persecution for being a Christian, showing people who cry outrage the loudest had the most to hide. Feel free, again, to watch for more context or find proof of slander, or just simply accuse me of grifting. In episode 5, Gamergate, the slow revealed truth, I again called out the hypocrisy and the fact they showed no outrage towards Christians being hypocritical in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, KCD, or banging a married woman when both the protagonist and her were allegedly Catholics, or the gay novice monk, or when the gay Henry is woke DIE narrative didn't work for JDA and Fandom Pulse. They, alongside John F. Trent, published an article after watching a YouTube video about the history of KCD. There's child prawn in the game, which I then point out JDA self admits to grifting and the fact he never played the game. Feel free to watch the video for more context or try to prove I defend that crap. Or you can wait later in this video or I have more to add. Many of these videos I cut into clips for weekly publication, but others, like my thoughts on Endymions and Bracer Group source, or additional videos I add in the mix when needed. But this video in episode 5 also warns against jumping the gun and accepting something on blind faith when someone who has not researched, did their due diligence, and or played or tested the issue simply because they are of your tribe. It gets tiring after a while covering these outlandish claims, manufactured self-defeating controversies, especially when there is real gaming news to cover. That I am accused of defending Wokies, being called a hypocrite, an SJW, or a grifter when I'm not monetized, and invite people to prove me wrong in every video, stating, put your thoughts in the comments below in most, if not all, of my videos. To the point, some have added me on lists and accused me of grifting despite not being monetized yet. Oh well. When I'm finally loaded up on a boxcar by partisan tourists and woke police to the gulag, I call dibs on pulling the train whistle. Hey, I might not get another chance when the wokes have me take my first showers in the gulags. Speaking of history, when you add these videos alone to the 2018 Chronicle I mentioned earlier, we see a pattern. JDA enters the nerdom, rides the coattails of others to grit the following, creates a controversy, grifts his books and articles, promotes his Latino identity, and when he gets called out slandering everything is gay, thinks he's being canceled as a right-wing conservative, persecuted for his Catholic faith by Wokies, false Christians, etc. And when that doesn't work or his past comes back to haunt him, goes for his tactical nuke. You're a child pedo. He's the real gamer, nerd, Christian, etc. A nuke has already been diffused by other content creators that I will mention here, and then doubles down until he damages that nerdom severely or is finally ignored, so he leaves another community as that community he was previously in shuns them. But enough of my involvement with JDA for the purposes of transparency. Let's cover the recent JDA and Fandom Pulse controversies. To recap, JDA is the co-founder of Fandom Pulse, and according to his Twitter, website, Amazon, Bleeding Pool, Federalist, and other websites he was on, he is the, quote, #1 best-selling author for Christian values, and invites you to follow him for based reporting in pop culture, gaming, sci-fi, fantasy, and comics. However, based on what we have seen, I do not think God would want us to force people into Christianity. I found no evidence of this in the New Testament passages, nor would he want us to lie, nor in accordance with 1 Corinthians 10:23 verses 31, give offense to non-believers, Jews, nor fellow Christians. I will elaborate and summarize episode 1 of Dragoncast in this text I shared with my community on Discord. Yes, God is the ultimate judge, but if God wanted us to worship him by force, there would be no free will. It is not our place to enforce our morality, only to spread the word and let you decide. Allow me to do what JDA, Trent, and Mail fails to do to justify their woke crusade. Allow me to share some Bible verses for clarity. Isaiah 29:13, and so the Lord says, these people say they are mine, they honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, and their worship of me is nothing but man-made rules learned by rote. James 1:26. If a person thinks he is religious but can't control his tongue, he is fooling himself. That person's religion is worthless. Matthew 7:3-5. Why do you see the speck in that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take that speck out of your eye, when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's. Matthew 6:1-2. Beware of practicing your righteousness before others, people, in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in synagogues and in the street, that they may be praised by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. Matthew 12:34. You're brood of vipers, how can you who are evil say anything good? For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. 2 Corinthians 11:13-15. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as the angel of light. So it is no surprise if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. Their end will correspond to their deeds. Jude 1:4. For certain people have crept in unnoticed, who long ago were designated for this condemnation, ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God and sensuality deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. 2 Peter 2:1. For there were false prophets who among the people, even that there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord has brought them, and bring upon them swift destruction. Romans 16:18. For they are as such, serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. And my personal favorite, 1 Corinthians 10:23-31. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but not all things edify. Let no one seek his own, but each other eat others' well-being. Eat what is ever sold in a meat market, asking no questions for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord's and all of its fullness. If any of those who do not believe invites you to dinner, and you desire to go, eat what is ever set before you, asking no questions for conscience sake. But if anyone asks you, this was offered to idols, do not eat it for the sake of the one who has told you, and for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and all its fullness. Conscience, I say, not of your own, but that of the other. For why is my liberty judged by another man's conscience? But if I partake with thanks, why am I evil spoken of for the food over which I give thanks? Therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all in the glory of God. Give no offense either to the Jew or the Greek or to the church of God, just as I am also please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved. Jesus never condemned a sinner. The first person to enter heaven was a murderer and a thief. Many of Christ's followers, include the woman at the well, an adulteress, and Mary of Magdalene, a prostitute, were horrible sinners. Many sinned over and over and over again, but came to him to grow. He condemned the Pharisees who twisted the scriptures for their own laws and morality. Pharisees would wear robes and gold and perfume, standing in the streets praying to show how pious they are, like Mel, Trent, and JDA. I never came out with my faith until these people made me come out and rebuke to them. Christians, according to him, are to imitate him, and the early Christians did, and most Christians thereafter, while many of the Lord and noble sent their sons to the church as monks and priests to solidify their power. To clarify, when Jesus told Peter to follow him, he said to mind his own business and follow him. John 21:22, Jesus said unto him, if I will that he remains till I come, what is that to you? You must follow me. So no, these people aren't Christians. Gary Gygax was a Christian. Dee Snider and Alice Cooper are Christians. Meatloaf was a Christian. Scott Cawthon of Five Nights at Freddy's and Sandy Peterson, who created Doom, are Christians. Jesus tells us how we will know the difference. Matthew 7:15-20, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inward they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. In other words, actions speak louder than words. Congratulations. You know what a false Christian or what a Pharisee is now. Now I will tell you what a Christian is meant to be. The Bible, as I pointed in the above verses, state we have the right to do anything, but not all things are beneficial. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, test all things, hold fast what is good. 1 Corinthians 10, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but not all things to edify. So if all things are of the Lord's and all things can be permitted, who am I to deprive you that right to test yourself in what is good? I can say I don't play this game or watch this show because I believe it's wrong, and here's why. That's testing the thing. I am forbidden by the Bible to restrict those things from others and shame them. And if most people who claim to read their Bible actually read it, they would find what they do and what is written contradict. And while Mel reads her Bible and JDA and John Trent preaches and claims to be Christians, even Galileo points out when you read the Bible at the grammatical level, you are prone to error. You have to study it, understand the history and context surrounding it. Prosperity gospel Christians and lip service Christians are merely Pharisees using the Bible to dictate and justify their lust for power and control. That being said, John De La Rosa's God is not my God. John De La Rosa's God is his politics and his ego. His God is the GOP. His God is Trump. His God is, again, his ego and his greed, his desire to be popular and famous. Well, the Bible says, pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before the fall. And for those of you who claim to be Christians that are defending JDA that are watching my video, hate watching, I'll let you decide where that Bible verse is. Because like Lucifer, who was cast out of heaven, time and time again, JDA has faced the fall. I'm not saying all Trump supporters are like this. I'm not saying all Republicans, Democrats, or any political type are like this. It's okay to support the people you support. It's okay to have the politics you have. The difference between a Christian and JDA in this case is that JDA does not put God first in all things. He does not do what he does in the glory of God. He does not do what he does to honor the faith. Being a dragon, I have a strong dislike for liars. I have a strong dislike for the father of lies and who I perceive to be his ilk. Therefore, as we have seen throughout the 30 minutes into this video, JDA is nothing more than a liar and a fraud.
You fuckers need to repent!
Well, let's continue on with the next part of his claims. #1 Amazon bookseller. The current controversy started, as I became aware of, when Cult Classic K shared this screenshot. Literally just fell into a JDA catfish rabbit hole discovery live on YouTube right now. And the screenshot shows JDA with some streamers as well. But I want you to look at this. This is JDA's website, JDA stream, I guess. And it shows JDA, John De La Rose. This is the stream, I guess, they're on. But look at this. Daniela Exera. All right. Daniela Exera says she's a romance sweet, but sometimes a little spicy. Gryffindor, INTJ, she, her. Now, a lot of people point out this screen's a fake account. This is true. But let's point out that this also has all the telltale signs of power word. She's got the INTJ. She's a Gryffindor lover. She's a she, her, right? That's her pronouns, right? Things that you would see in a woke account that JDA seems to be against. Another hypocrisy. Scrolling down, the last post she has made was in 2024, which everyone reading today. And you can tell she has not been very popular. But I want y'all to notice this. I took this plunge into my first time on Amazon. I hope you like it. And we're gonna reveal this book in a moment. The Roles We Play by Daniela Arcera. Seemingly innocent, but it does look like an empty alt account because it's not very active for someone who's trying to promote her book. Right? And that's because we have found out, as I stated, she's the alt account of JDA. And if you don't believe me, JDA even admits it. Tons of YouTubers are going ballistic about my excellent book, saying it's over for me. Meanwhile, I've sold more copies of this today than ever. Thanks for bringing attention to a great romance novel. Well, I want to know where's his proof? That's one thing I want to know about JDA. He's always bringing proof to things he doesn't think people are going to believe him on. He says he sold more copies of this today. I think it's a cope because he doesn't show it, in my opinion. But he screenshots this one. He screenshots it, and what's on it? He says this is his book. Got a lot of message about a pen name to write a romance novel. It's like, it's a gotcha. Actually, JDA, it's not the pen name itself. You're trying to cover your ass. Okay, this one is one of the most innovative books in genre. Read it today or get it for your wife. And he's got like he's obviously trying to grift on it. I mean, to be fair, if I was a novelist, sure, and people were having issues with my book, I would grift my book too. I would take advantage of the situation and use this free PR. Right? But that's not the issue. All right. Hypnotic covered this live on stream. I'm going to point it out here. But he received info from a character named Bob Boosted Squirrel. And this is a letter that one of his friends sent him, Bob Boosted Squirrel, that he shared with Hypnotic. And it says, "Hi, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Let me know about this situation. I confirmed the profile is fake and the person using my image without permission. But if you'd like to report it, that would be really helpful." She invites everyone to report the profile. He's giving people permission to report that profile. That would be really helpful. Thanks again for your help. Send you greetings from Spain, Bess, and I think it says Annabelle. Give a special shout to Bob Boosted Squirrel. His YouTube will be in the description. While he doesn't have videos per se, except for the one, he has been putting some live footage. So I do think that if you haven't, I gave him subscribe for this, because he had a really good info for me to make content and Hypno to make content. And I think he has just that email alone has contributed to the gaming sphere. So if you want, I'd say give him some support. He also played Squirrels with a Gun, which was an awesome game, by the way. So, but here's what he sent me. I asked him for this, and he sent it to me. I asked him live on my stream, and when Hypnotic rated my KCD2 stream. And this is what he explained to me. It was from a friend, and it says, we'll start from the bottom here, where his friend says, "This is going to sound random, but I think someone may have stolen your photo and is using it on Twitter, now X. I account to pretend to be a writer doing a quick image search. It came back to your website, his Spanish online. I'm only sending this email. To confirm whether Trevor account is actually yourself, as we are under the impression someone is using this as an alternate account and may have stolen your image off your website. Regards. So it was a great bit of detective work because she replied, as you can see here, Annabelle Spanish. We censored out the emails. Hi, Jane. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, let me know about the situation. I confirm that the profile is fake and that person used my image without permission. I've already reported the account, but if you'd also like to report, it'd be really helpful. So again, it's confirmed. And here's another screenshot of her website. Hi, Spanish Online, about me. She's the founder and she's a teacher of Spanish. And that's her image. Some people are pointing out that JDA used his image because she wouldn't be able to come after him for his actions in Spain, and believing it, no one will find out. Okay, everybody. This is an update to the video. So I've putting this in right after I got done talking about Annabelle or Danielle Estera. But more proof came in that this is a fake account. I mean, it's already been proven with Bible Bass the Squirrel in the emails. So shout out to him. But also, she has actually come out in her Twitter account to make a statement. And you're going to notice that John Della Rose, or JDA, is trying to untag himself in Fandom Pulse so his followers can't find out the truth. This is from Annabelle High Spanish, the lady who the picture belongs to. I publicly announced that the writer John Della Rose uses the pseudonym Daniela Serra as faking a professional photograph of me from my website without my consent and is using it as a profile picture. Despite multiple warnings, he has yet to remove it. Hashtag identity theft, hashtag unauthorized. I demand its immediate removal. If you fail to do so, I will take the necessary steps to protect my rights and my professional image. Hashtag identity theft, hashtag unauthorized image use, hashtag public complaint, hashtag professional respect. Here you see it for anyone who wants to deny it. Danielle Serra, John Della Rose. Danielle Serra, Annabelle Marquez, founder and teacher of Spanish Online. And if people still want to say, oh, this is fake, because you saw my image on that one, here she goes. Let's talk Spanish Online. Especially because you mean this account, you click it, doing this live, it's still up. Right, I'm going to follow it to keep track on it, because if it gets shut down, I'm going to announce it. He goes, yes, they said it right there. So she admits, she confirms is this account that we talked about before. He goes, I publicly announced the writer John Del Rose, she's a pseudo downstairs, taking a professional picture for me, blah, blah, blah. Both the warnings, he has yet to remove it. Someone says, what art of the Bible is this in? Thou shalt not grift upon the image of a woman's identity to promote thy smut in private while pretending to fear the Lord by shaming gooners and spreading the word of father of lies. Book of John Della Rose 20, 24, 25. Besides just making a joke. It's not in the book. It just keeps, people are celebrating this and coming out to support her. Now the quotes, Davy goes, ghostwriting pen names, wanting to be anonymous for all the wonderful parts of creativity that many builders. Some of your Magno writers are 100% anonymous people. But what has happened here isn't that. This is blatant image that's trying to profit off the face of a woman. Had John used a better image of a flower he took the picture of, none of this would really matter. But he didn't do that. He stole the face of a Spanish teacher and lied. Stealing is someone's face is very wrong and not the behavior anyone should ever defend, I hope. Which again, according to the Bible, thou shalt not steal. That's not very Christian behavior, is it? That's to teach. Founder of Fandom Pulse and YouTuber John Del Rose has been caught stealing images of another person and writing under their image. Not a great look, John. Yikes, man. I can't defend you on this one. As you see, John Del Rose is trying to take out his names and publication from being tagged. I'm refreshing it just to be on there again. Remember, Johnny Boy, one of the Ten Commandments is thou shalt not steal, though you may have missed that in Sunday school from Words of Paradise. If not, it goes dun dun dun. Back where the woman who's image JDA stole for his female smut romance writer pen named Danielle Estera profile without her consent reveals. Despite multiple warnings, she refused to remove the image from her profile, preparing to take necessary steps to protect her and her professional right. Bubba Scroll says, I think I can claim credit for this happening. John Rose and set up and unfolding your tour specialty like Nautic About the World, Mario Kart, and Toasty with the Mosty. And I actually told him, and I'm going to put it here, give you credit, bro. Video premieres tomorrow. So you're watching this live. Amazing Gaming Production says, never trust JDA. Rise already had to worry about someone stealing our story ideas, but now our likeness as well. It's time to cry havoc and unleash the dogs of war. Well, the fans, Flukes, looks like Johnny Boy is in a whole heap of trouble this time. We're not serious. It's crazy how John De La Rose keeps on tagging himself as he runs away, stealing someone else's image for his pseudonym account. LOL. Why are you writing when you still link someone else's image? This is what happens when you preach. You always have the most to hide. NEH Woodson, JDA is always a procurement coming, but this is really, really low. John De La Rose, BTFO. Pretend marriage. This woman has caught De La Rose red-handed, handing her likeness to promote himself. De La Rose is shameful, abusive grifter who shouldn't be welcome in any circles. Exactly. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm recommend that you're judged by the company you keep. So it's time to let John De La Rose face the void and shame. Wouldn't imagine that someone getting what they deserve, maybe? Anything to say about this one, John De La Rose? Let's talk about identity theft instead. Here's another thing people don't realize is that he muted all these accounts, a lot of these accounts that are being tagged, right? And they're still able to at him. From what I understand, that if you mute someone, you can't remove the tag. So there's a catch-22 on that, John De La Rose. You know, because you said you like to mute people's account so you can still get the engagement. In which John Rose steals and uses random woman's image to pretend to be a woman author and writes smut. The gaming Mason Nautic Smashing T. Lavistro, that's a me. Damn, John Rose not very Christian. Repent. I'm adding this to my video and making it in a premiere. That's after the video that I'm recording right now. Drexel Fitzhand had brought this attention, so apparently John De La Rose had stolen the identity of a Spanish cheater with a photo. You just keep going. I can keep going on and on and on and on and on. Here's Toasty. Shout out to Toasty. On and on and on and on. Adam Judeman, fellow hypnotic mod. On and 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 on. So, yes. All right. And the thing I want to point out here is that Mugen Lord made a very valid point, going back to what he said. This dude has been exposed time and time again, as we have seen in this video, that he has no integrity and a grifter. But since he spouts out the same politics that people agree with, people look the other way. All right. Now, I'm not a Daniel Vavro, soy boy, worship boy, whatever. But there are times when people who have bad take say something based, right? And Daniel Vavra has actually said something very based earlier last month when all this controversy started. All right. I'm going to put a cut marker right here. All right. Adding this little clip in from reading Mugen Lord's clip. So this is from Daniel Vavra back in January 19 when all this stuff started. When he made 10 statements about the game when people were freaking out about Gay Henry. He has always been transparent so far. I have not caught him in a lie. 10-10, as he says here. We don't want KCD to be used as clickbait by people who didn't even play it yet. Like Fandom Pulse, John F. Trent, JDA, and I'm going to add Edemion to listen Torch Yorch games. Some of them sadly turn into exactly the same narrative they pretend to be fighting against. JDA, Fandom Pulse, John F. Trent, Melanie Mack, you name it. The amount of hateful behavior is really sad and will damage any cause associated with it. And yes, remember what Mugen Lord said? This edited clip is going back to Mugen Lord. Okay, now that you had that edited video, we're going to continue on. As you can see, none of this would have happened. I'm going to say none of this would have happened if Bob Boost's girl's friend did not, I repeat, did not find her, email her, ask her to confirm this, share this with Bob Boost's girl, and Bob Boost's girl decided not to share this with Hypnotic. Okay. Or me, because if I didn't get the source of this, I would not cover this until this happened. So none of this would have happened if people in the community did not verify things. Okay. And God does not like his word being besmirched. He does not like false believers and false believers and heretics and people who use his name in vain. He doesn't like them besmirching his image. He doesn't like them dishonoring his word, dishonoring the church, and claiming to be a Christian and only paying lip service. Those people eventually get punished. And like I said, John is falling hard. He is getting exactly what God wants for him. So if you still think JDA is a Christian, if you still think that God is with him, please understand that he has claimed again and again to lie. He has lied over and over and over and over and over and over. All right. But you know what? Let's go see what John the ADA has to say. All right. Let's see if he has anything to say. Let's see if Judy has anything to say. Hey, John Della Rose, by the way, just so you know, I talk about games and your bullshit. This will be the last time I talk about your bullshit. I cover gaming news and you claim to be a gaming website. So just saying. All right, let's see if he talk about it. Does he talk about it? 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 Does he He did try to talk about it. It's a stop off open a pin name and you are retrieving a fake account to cancel someone. Oh, really? I think we've confirmed it is not John Della Rose, and here we caught you another lie. You can't even do a basic research, which is why you've used our research from Fandom Pulse to build your channel and just read the news. This is why no one trusts you anymore. Projection much? We're going to get into that too, by the way. It is one of the three things he out of his own mouth says that defines an SJW. Anything but accountability weird. Where have we seen this before? There she is, right there. On video from one of the fans. You can't actually be this stupid. It's all fake and created by this cancel crew. You're saying it was great job reporting news. I just debunked all your bullshit, John Della Rose, in one video. Actually, for the course of weeks. Dude. We're just going to do this live. Dude, I debunked your deep research with some actual autistic or actually actual. I don't want people to think, because I don't want people to think I'm making fun of autism. I'm not. Actual fierce precision. I forgot the lyrics of my song. That shakes the norm. It premieres tomorrow. Here's a hint. Remember saying God was racist? Like Lucifer, you are facing the fall for your sin of pride. Repent.
Make it repent!
There. And people are calling him on his bullshit. So, that being said, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are done with this controversy. We're wrapping it up live. As I've stated, he is killing his book, which we can find here. The Roles We Play, a sweet online role-playing romance novel that is sharing war, Kindle edition by Daniel Estera. There's not much information on Daniel Estera on Amazon. Now, I don't know. I'm not like a big Amazon savvy person. But it says here, bestsellers rank the Kindle store, science fiction, being wholesome romance. You can look this book up yourself, or you can pause the screen. I'll even zoom in for you. All right. But then it is basically, if you click the Syrian War books, it comes on to here. The Syrian War, Book 1, Epic Military Space Opera by John Del Rose. He says he's #1 author. Well, there's his place in the Kindle store. There's his place in Space Fleet Science Fiction. Place in ebooks. Place in Space Opera. Now, granted, this could change over time, but he makes the claim he's the #1 best-selling author. He says here, John Del Rose is #1 Amazon best-selling author, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, according to PJ Media. And to be fair, PJ Media is a right-wing source. And a source that likes to spin a right-wing narrative is basically CNN, a mirror of CNN. CNN likes to promote left-wing propaganda. So again, we have politics being entered into our games. And I'm not going to say he is here to click upon, when you click about, here's what it shows. I'm not going to say he's lying per se on a lot of these things, because when you look it up, it does say in an article that he is the leading voice of science fiction. That article is reference to him being banned from a sci-fi convention. Now, the sci-fi convention didn't clarify too much about it. I will say that. I forget that I wasn't going to use the site, but I'm just going to clarify in case anyone wants to point it out. It doesn't mention why he was banned, other than the fact that he openly admitted he was going to refuse the code of conduct at the convention, and so that's why they kicked him out. And then they apologized and let him back in, which tells me he used his Hispanic heritage, saying, "Oh, I'm Hispanic, you should be able to do that." Which again means that he's willing to use anything to grift off of. I decided to take a look at the best sellers. Not to be fair, a lot of these are in print for 2025. But if he's the #1 bestseller, it would be obvious that he'd be up here. However, going down, I have yet to see his name in here, and this is just the science fiction alone. Here's some more books going back down. Right, bestseller says this week, Handmaid's Tale. I wonder why that's on here. That's an old book. Most of these are 2025, right? Most sold, most read. Harry Potter. So he's still not on the best-selling list as well. According to his website, he still has the same. He's still active on it, as you can see. He's still trying to harp on the gay content, the whole gay panic. The whole argument of John Del Rose is he's freaking out about the gays. Now, some people try to call this satanic panic too, but unfortunately, they're harping on the fact that he claims to be a Christian, which we have discussed at length in many different podcasts for Dragoncast. That he's not Christian. His actions have shown he's not Christian. He's lying. He's grifting. He's spinning a narrative. He's a popular YouTuber with hilarious live streams and lots of audience engagement. In his free time, he likes role playing, reading comics, and playing tennis. Well, as we can see here, he is posting stuff and he does get views, right? He has another fellow GoonerGate character individual. She drops a nuke, Melanie Mac, right? And so, and yes, he does seem to be saying the same things like the rest of us gamers are saying, because it's popular and it's something to grift off of. But I guarantee you, if we watch his videos, which I'm not going to give him the pleasure, he is first off, see Fandom Pulse. He's grifting off his website. Number one, he's using only his website, and two, he's promoting his political spin on the subject. While it is true that gamers do not want woke as well, Kingdom, like for example, here, Kingdom Come is a massive L, right? Well, if you go look at the Steam charts, Kingdom Come is not a massive L. They use slander to accuse jalapenos. It has jalapenos in it, which again I have stated many times. If this was true, it would even make it into the market. He has 55K subscribers, right? Which I don't consider him to be a very popular YouTuber. A popular YouTuber to me would be uh around 100K subscribers. Hypnotic is rising to popularity as a subscriber, as a popular YouTuber. He has over 80K subscribers. And I remember earlier last year, it's almost been a year, where he was only at a thousand subscribers. And why is Hypnotic being so popular? That would describe to me as a rising star, as a popular YouTuber, Hypnotic, because he works hard, he tries hard to be to bring integrity into his podcast. And this full transparency, I am a moderator for his channel and his YouTube. I mean his Steam account. All right. But I wouldn't be a moderator for him if he was grifting. I do not like liars. I do not like to lie. I don't like it when people lie to my face. And Hypnotic to me has always been honest and forthcoming, so he deserves my loyalty. I'll say that right now. Now, has there been times where Hypnotic has said something wrong or does something wrong? Yes. Have I called him out for it? Yes. I also call him out for it when he breaks his own rules in his forums. For the most popular being the no links in chat rule. He has that for everyone else, but he'll post his own links, and I'll call him out and I'll say, "No links in chat, boss man." Or a good example was last week. He posted a screenshot that related to KDA about wokeism. I says, "Hey, boss man," and he gave me credit for it. He says, "Shout out to my mod Lavistro who helped me out with this." But this wasn't banned for DIE; it was banned for piracy, which Steam doesn't take that lightly. But to be fair, because I know people are going to say, "Well, what about your channel?" I've never claimed to be a big, huge, popular channel. I am slowly growing. I started streaming this year, shortly after around the summer of last year, I should say. And I had 237 subscribers. I slowly, steadily grow, and occasionally get a boost from people rating my channel. But I stay consistent. So a popular channel like Hypnotic versus a popular channel like 88 Grifts. And we can see it here with his Patreon, right? This is JDA's Patreon, or was lined up books. It's actually on his Steam account. See, it's lined up books. And he's he is secret on it because he harping his new novel right here. Becoming an author influencer. Why are you here? And he's showing his books, which as an author you should, but it's easy. But this is the warning about I say about having politics in your spheres. I don't care if it's left wing. I don't care if it's right wing. It creates artificial growth. Your books aren't standing on a merit that they are good. And while yes, you want to go out there and stream and do everything you can to promote your work, I'm not saying that. However, it's easy to find a base in political spirits if you're in the right tribe. This is why I always have a disclaimer that I try to avoid politics. And you should always avoid people that use apolitical spin. It's not necessarily a bad thing that someone talks about politics, but that's something you have to be very wary of. Some people, their identity is their politics, be it left or right, their politics define who they are. A gamer, a nerd, we separate art from the artist. So an artist can come out and say, I am gay, I am a socialist, I am this, that. For example, if you like The Watchmen, if you like the comic books and movies, The Watchmen, that is based on a writer who's a socialist and a communist, who's even come out and said it, who's even worn the hammer and sickle t-shirt. You could look that up. All right. I don't agree with politics, and I can't remember his name for The Watchmen, but I like the movie The Watchmen, and I remember watching the cartoon, and I remember liking some of the comics I read, and they're very dark, in my opinion. But continuing on to his subscribe star, you know, he's out here trying to kill his book. So people can argue like, well, what about this, that, and the other thing? He's got 36 subscribers. All right, I wanted to show you this. This is the main reason I'm putting this. You got 37 posts, 26 members. And he makes $25 a month. This is on Patreon. I don't see any hearts. Now, it could be because I'd have to join to unlock. I don't see any numbered for hearts and shares. If he was a #1 bestseller author and YouTuber, content influencer, very popular person, right? This should be no issue. As a game designer, I have friends and colleagues in the gaming sphere who are artists, who have Patreons, and who are very popular, and they'll have lots of hearts, and they don't like their Patreon is their bread and butter, basically. They have a YouTube stream, maybe they might have their games that they make, but their Patreon or their subscribed artists are bread and butter. Here we have 1 like, 2 likes, 2 likes, 1 comment, 2 likes. You have to unlock the tier to see his stuff. You have to give him money first to see if you actually want to support this, right? Just scrolling down, we always have 1 like, 0 likes. See, he's not getting much engagement even on Subscribe Star. Now, to be fair, Subscribe Star isn't that popular, but even on Patreon, as we have stated, from what we're seeing, going back to January 3rd, we're not seeing much engagement. Here I'm showing the Fandom Pulse, his website that he allegedly owns or co-owns. And as you can see here, he mostly talks about Kingdom Come Deliverance, or the actually like wokeness in games, creativity director, second statement on gay grooming scene. So he's trying to spin a narrative. No buy any. George Torch, Fandom Pulse, John F. Trent. John F. Trent could be sued for this. And I'll point out why. I agree with someone's opinion on this, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying from what my perspective. Another John F. Trent but it's basically trashing Kingdom Come Deliverance because they don't like the gay scene. So John Della Rose, like I said, he's part of GoonerGate that was started by John Roberts. Defending by people like Melanie Mack, JDA, Jonas Brent, among other individuals. Here he critiqued Jade Smash talking about Fandom Pulse, covering for them. He tries to be in this Jameson, what do we need to cover for? People try to say, oh, he's a technical Christian, what coverage he talking about? Like, he's got his shields in there. But here he tries to say, look at me, I am a gamer, I am one of you. First off, as a gamer, I'm going to point this out. And we've all made this joke after a hypnotic Saturday Night Hypnosis. It started with Smashy T typing out, and then other people do as well, just a joke, because gamers is a power word. And by power word, I mean something that is easily seen in the algorithm when you look up something that's easily searched for. Gamers, what do we see in video game culture? Is it new? It's the same as just 14 and Gamergate. So he's not lying there. He's fitting a narrative with some truths. There's a playbook on how to deal with woke activists, and it applies today. SJWs Always Lie is the mystery book. I want you to notice this. SJWs always lie. Learn your history or be doomed to repeat it. The rules you see here are SJWs always lie. SJWs always double down. SJWs always project. They try to they'll try to infiltrate our movement, try to subvert it like they have in gaming. It's all part of their strategy. Well, you're addressing gamers, first off. So you're saying they're trying to subvert it like they have in gaming. Well, who are you talking? What movement are you talking about then? First off, if you're not talking about gaming, because you're addressing gamers, right? So you're saying our movement, but now you're saying you're going to subvert that movement just like in gaming. So obviously, you're not. So you're not talking about gaming. That's one thing I just want to point out to me, because I maybe I'm misreading that. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it. I don't know. But they always lie. They always double down, and they always project. Well, we always see we've seen that he has a history of furry accounts. He is doubling down on his Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 stances about it being gay and GoonerGate. And we've seen that he's lying because he poses to someone else without their permission to use their likeness. He's trying to spin a narrative. This screenshot going around accused me of saying that turning things black and gray is woke. This is really serious. I would like to clarify something that is turning things black and gray is woke. I would like to clarify that if something is turning things black and gay, it's woke. So, Little Defensive finds what woke. And this is a conversation between him and JDA. And he goes, it means black and gay. Like, what does woke mean? And he explains his part. Woke means cultural Marxism. And JDA says it means black and gay. Which, of course, George Torch Games, as we have seen, is as we've seen, has there he is a writer for Fandom Pulse. So obviously he's going to associate with his inner circle. And then he's saying, good morning, welcome to see my reporting made to Daily Wire. We are winning. You're winning what? Background of the situation was first reported by John DeRose on his Fandom Pulse Substack, and was explained to Daily Wire by Erkenstein's wife, Christine. Well, what are you want to share that article? Are you going to share that article? No. But he's saying it, yes, I'm in the Daily Wire being a Republican news outlet. My guy, Daily Wire also has, what's his name? Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh who says anime is devil worship and childish, and trying to advocate for removal of video games, who says real men don't play games, real men don't do this, real men don't do that, and using the Bible to spin off his own narrative, also a Catholic, or so he says, just like JDA. Now, I'm not trashing Catholic, because I'm pretty sure there's some Catholics in my own following list or my viewers, but he's not winning, as we're going to see. Because he comes back and doubles down. Some retarded streamers are saying original Gamergate hates JDA. I worked for Milo Yiannopoulos as a writer. I don't know if Milo was in Gamergate. I do know he was a right-wing conduit for Breitbart, along with James Ben Shapiro. Fox Day is one of my best friends, and I'm cool with Grums and Daddy Warpig. Okay, well, Grums has some takes that I disagree with, and yes, he has some base statements. But the original GGs are the real ones. Get out of here, tourists. So he's trying to claim everyone else is third. He's projecting. He's doubling down. Right? And those are his words. Those are his words. They always double down. They always project. Right? Here goes the classic Cage. I'm going to give her a like every week here. We asked you to address your female smut writer LARPing account featuring pronouns. That's what they're saying. They go classic Cage, Kata. And yes, ethics and journalism was the main part of Gamergate. And he says, isn't what I'm doing all about ethics? So, as we have seen, he lies, he smears, doubles down here. He is doing another gay panic tweet. Some people are struggling to find what woke is in culture movies, and here's a handy thing to help you on the spot. This is woke. This is woke. Gay is woke. He's panicking. This is woke. This is woke. This is woke. But you're showing examples of woke, but you're not defining it. This is woke. And obviously, he's going to attack Hypnotic. Which, like I said, he's not even bother to engagement. So he's trying to do an engagement with Hypnotic fans, which I'm not even going to do it. And then he goes, "This is not woke. If you enjoy non-woke stories, get 3 free books by signing up here." My guy, if you're the number one best-selling author, you would not be, in my personal view, you would not be trying to offer 3 free books. You're shilling. I said, you're grifting. You're not one of us. And I've never heard of you. And I read that, like, I don't like steampunk. How come I never heard of these books? Are you going to tell me, oh, it's because the evil Amazon is blocking my account? Well, you just said your number one bestseller on Amazon, so I should see you. I buy a sci-fi book. I buy fantasy books. I read them at night before I go to bed. And whenever I have leisure time to read books, I love reading Star Wars books. I love reading good sci-fi books. I'm just currently trying to finish up Wheel of Time, so I never got to finish past book 7. So that being said, I never heard of you. I never even knew you were a writer until I decided to look at what the whole deal about you is. But here we have it more where it just keeps doubling down. He says it started on Mass Effect 3. He's trying to say it's a big ass or a slippery slope. And that's not how it worked. And see, it's GoonerGate. I had another tip that's when games started adding sex scenes in general. That's when it started this degeneracy. I did Mass Effect 3, but that's about it. So the thing is, however, is that he's claiming that all these ones here that we call are woke, right? That's their argument. Started from games like this, Mass Effect 3 and BioWare. It's the gay panic. It's literally what it is. because Mass Victory, you have, if I remember correctly, you can have gay relationships. As Dudley Mouse here catches it out, I disagree with the religious extremist because he's not religious. He's just using religion for his own objectives. Because here it's showing like optional gay sex scene choice in KCD2. GoonerGate religious play on the gay sex side, why do you make Henry gay? Because he's using the fact that it has Embrace Your Group. And I argue if Embrace Your Group was not in here but had everything else, would people still freak out about it? And I'm going to say no, not as bad. And here's that claim where he says about the voice actor coming around about wokeism. And he highlights this, but the release of KCD approached some of the voices turning against him as it emerged in a sequel features a black character and a gay love scene that could play out with characters make certain decisions. And he said it was because he comes out and says you get used to woken games or something like that. Like that was his claim in the beginning, right? Actor says if you don't like wokeness in gaming, you're not necessarily into gaming. All right. Notice that he says you don't like wokeness in gaming, and he puts up quote unquote not necessarily into gaming. Luke Dale, the actor who plays Hans Capone, right? So there's just a screenshot from BBC. We see members celebrated Valve for exploiting copyrights, but as the release of KD to approach, some of the voices turned against him. As it emerges, the sequel features a black character and a gay love scene that can play out if characters make certain decisions. I think it's quite an interesting thing that has happened. Luke says, the voice actor of Hans Capone. With the first game, there was a backlash of more left-wing mentality, and then there's been something of a backlash this time from the right-wing mentality. Both Luke and Tom have spent days after KCD's release meeting fans saying they believe the complaints are from an unrepresentative minority. He says, I think, to be honest to you, the people that are true big fans of gaming in this game aren't bothered by that sort of stuff. It seems that people are really politically involved and they care much about politics and not gaming. They've used this as a weapon, but they're not necessarily into gaming. So there we go. He contradicted his own article, right? As we said. What do they say? If you don't like wokeness in gaming, you're not necessarily into gaming. What does the article say? If you're into politics. And as we've seen from JDA, he's into politics. In my last podcast, and as you've seen through other videos throughout the week, say, we don't want politics in gaming. We don't give a shit about your politics. It does not deserve to be in game. He talks about the gay sex scene ban, which we also stated that currently as of SteamDB, you can get it in Saudi Arabia on Steam. If someone else has proof to the contrary, please share that with me in the comments below so I can look that up, or tag me in X and I will make the corrected statements. But as far as I know, as far as what I looked on Steam, it's still available in Saudi Arabia, but it is not available in Belarus and Russia. So is it banned on Steam? I don't think Daniel Barber is lying on that one. If anyone can confirm that one, you just let me know. He basically goes around and it's a back and forth between him and Daniel Barber. He wants to be right, even including saying that the Steam banning homophobia and transphobia is harmful ideologies, which in another video I've mentioned, it's the ban he's referring to is a ban because the reviewer mentioned piracy, and Steam does not take that lightly. The other claims of DEI in the game's review files. Then he points out a Warhorse Studios, which we also point out was confirmed to be a CM and not Daniel Barber himself. And it's just basically him fighting with Daniel throughout the whole thing and doubling down, adding more context. It's just lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. So why are we talking about JDA right now? And I'm as much as I'm going to say I'm tired of talking about JDA, this is a gaming channel. So again, why are we talking about it? Because JDA claims to be a gamer. From what I understand, he owns Fandom Pulse, which is a pop culture news gaming site. It says here, following for based reporting on culture, gaming, sci-fi, fantasy, and comics. But here he goes. He says, people are sending screenshots that Daniel Barber is blocking gamers who criticize Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 wokeness. Starting to block gamers is never a good sign. Who's standing for this train wreck? He does show where Daniel blocks people. However, he's framing a narrative to fit his design. All right. To be fair, a lot of his journalists have blocked me. He hasn't. I want you to notice George Torch Games, Tinker Torture, who also gives in a narrative, and you'll find out that these people are all connected with their own stills. So someone else calls it hypocrisy here that Tinker Torture has blocked them. The current controversy started as and here we have Daniel Barbara finally coming out about it, and this is a very mature and professional take on the situation, which someone pointed out in a stream. I can't remember where I heard it or if I was live on a stream, because we've been talking about this for a long time. He goes, John Praktik or Hans Capone is a historical character. His date of birth is unknown and it's probably before 1388. He got married in 1403, year of KCD events. His son was born in 1404, famous Hints Tech, who helped King Jiri the Hodebrad to the throne. There are no children in KCD. So he comes out and makes that statement. But I do want to point out that remember what I said about the Fandom Pulse? The John F. Trent of Fandom Pulse wrote an article stating that it's a literal fact that KCD contains child surveillance. Just saying, if you're ever bored or low on cash, you have a nice, easy libel suit against them. Yes, it's a print. This is full on libel. I'd watch for potential legal repercussions if I were Trent. And to be fair, I want to say I want to see that happen as well, because people need to be held accountable. I'm not talking about like canceling or this and that. Lying is not free speech. Defamation is not free speech. And the thing is, there's going to be a huge cost for this that I warned. When you say you're of a certain tribe or you're of a certain belief system and you don't speak the truth, you lie and you slander. It may not be today, may not be tomorrow. It could be years from now, just like with GoonerGate. We got the truth exposed 10 years later. When you lie, deceive people, the end will come for you. I'm not talking about anything fatal. I'm talking about you will be paying the piper. You will be paying for your action. Because the truth stands in the face of lies. Fandom Pulse, a tabloid website, no different than Kotaku, basically a Gen 2 of Kotaku, should be held accountable. JDA should be held accountable because he published it as Fandom Pulse, because he's the publisher. John F. Trent should be held accountable for writing that. JDA, who owns the site and is probably the editor, should have reviewed that, but he let his own political beliefs come first before the truth. It's not written as, this is my opinion. It's written as fact. I'm going to give it a shout out because there's another confirmation that there's no children. I streamed the game as well, and I didn't think about this. Now, we've pretty much read through this video, right? We read this tweet already. Let's get through it. But before I do, I want to say that go get this guy, like his video being in the description. He shared it on Toasty with the most. I'm sorry, Jay, if you're watching this. I'm so sorry. Let me see if we can fix that. That's better. Okay. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to pause you on a dirt face. Listen, becoming hypnotic here. Anyways, he shared this video out on Toasty. It was the most he streamed yesterday or the other day. And he has in-game proof. So go watch the video because he addresses as well John Dale Rose trying to spin another narrative based on it. Like, no. It was always like this. It was basically is what he's saying. Like JDA saying it was always this way. He just changed his mind now. However, I also want to point out if you look down the video down here, is Luke Dale, one of the actors. And I'll unpause it so you can see it and see for yourself. But as a 32-year-old with my weather-beaten face, I'm almost flattered anyone could have mistaken me for anything even slightly younger, to be honest.
guy right here, John De La Rose, he's part of Fandom Pulse. He's one of the people that helped write these things, and he backed it and pushed it, right? This is part of the problem. I'm glad you changed your mind on this, and it was beyond crazy. Okay, so this right here tells you that Daniel has changed his mind, right? That's not actually how the characters were written, and Daniel is just changing his mind right now. So I found in-game proof for Hans is talking about being an adult and not being properly recognized as an adult. And I would also like to show you where you can see it yourself. And I would like to show you how it's so easy to miss, because when you go there, you can easily miss this. I was tipped off by someone named Liam Fairhall on X. It looks like kind of an alt account, so I don't know who it is reaching out to me, but I do appreciate nonetheless. So first up, here's the scene where he's talking about...
I just give a couple of seconds because I don't want to like steal from his content. I did tell him I was going to use his video live on stream. He gave me permission. Like I said, give him a like because people are reading over this. The wokies are reading over this. The gay panic people on Fandom Pulse. Give him a like. He's got 60 subscribers. Give him a subscribe. He's earned it for this because he does admit to being on the side of, oh no, child prawn, and then he goes and looks it up. So that's to give him a shout out. He did do his due diligence. That's why I always say, so you always do your due diligence. Don't look at some YouTube video. I mean, I know it sounds hypocritical here, but what happened was that when they wanted to spin a narrative, they looked up a YouTube video that saw Hans' age, and someone pointed out, I don't have the now I think about it, I regret not having it, but someone pointed out that in the post that JDA, John and Trent are posting, they removed or tried to sloppily remove the question mark. So you can see there was a question mark there was something that used to be there and they removed it, right? The question mark to promote a narrative. That is lying right there. That is straight up defamation. That means willful disobedience. That's expression. That is willful slander. Okay. I do have this screenshot from the game, the sequel. In it, as you can see, 1388, 1419, and there's a question mark that's supposed to be here. This is the second game. This is a screenshot from the second game. So that means that he was born before that his birthday was unknown, most likely before 1388. That's usually what it means. That's usually what it means in historical context, from what I understood growing up, reading history and stuff. So, doesn't say like at 15 he was this age or anything like that. This is the historical context. You don't see anything that confirms he was 15. Other than if you take this out, if you take this question mark out and you do the math, he was 37 years old. If you add it to the fact that it was 1403 for time period, he'd be 15. That's where they're getting their narrative from. Continuing on, this is the actual video of the scene in the game. This is in the very long tutorial. This is in the very beginning of the game. So basically, right before you can have free reign of the open world.
Almost.
Almost a nobleman, sir?
It's, well, a little complicated. Basically, my father, God rest his soul, bequeathed his estates to me when I come of age.
Ah. What's complicated about that, sir?
Nothing. And everything. But the thing is, it's up to a bunch of nobles that my father appointed to decide when I'm of age.
You seem quite adult to me, sir.
Yeah, I should think so. But they keep dragging their heels about it. They'd have to meet up to decide. And it's either, oh, it's too far to travel, or some are on their last legs and they just don't want to do it. If things were normal, I could present my claim to the king and he'd confirm my adulthood. Only our king is being held captive in Austria by his own brother, and I'm still the almost Lord of Ratai.
Our king is locked up?
Yes. Sigismund had him abducted.
So that actually answers many questions. It tells us one, that Hans is of age, and two, why he doesn't actually have the estate and why he isn't in charge of it and he's not a higher level than he is. The reason is one, his dad's dead, right? And he was supposed to be given the estate when he became of age. He is of age, but does not have the estate because the king has been captured, and the people who need to be there and to confirm this are all basically unavailable. And so he cannot be confirmed to be of age, even though he is. If you want to see this yourself, you can go load up the part where it says Fortuna, meet them at breakfast. It's the part with Pevlena and her mother, where you go talk to them when you go and have your first meal in the game after you are injured.
The game has auto saves when you progress throughout the game. So he's pointing to the save file you can find this out on, which is Fortuna. Join the others for breakfast. So this is literally you'll wake up in your bed set and you're walking out of the hut to breakfast. So that's literally where that is. So it's not that, it's like a couple of seconds before you see the scene. So you can find that out for yourself.
Henry tells me you're
See?
really a nobleman, sir.
Indeed, good wife. I'm Sir Hans Capon of Lipa.
And the reason this is so easy to miss, so if you go load up the game and you want to check it out,
Almost a nobleman, sir.
It's, well, look who's finally up.
See? So you could miss this scene, is what they're saying. So that's why some people don't pick this up right off the bat. So you gotta play the game, and this is why you don't listen to people who make outlandish claims without proof. And this is why streamers and gamers, quote unquote, don't tolerate JDA. It's because we played the game and we're saying you're a goddamn liar. He's trying to save his face. He's trying to keep the narrative. So now that he couldn't win the narrative about the game is woke with black people and gay people, now that he couldn't harp on the gay people and get people on his side, now that he can't prove that they're child porn in the game, what's the next narrative he's going to push? Oh, it's just about hating Christians on behalf of Jewish culture. Shocker. I'm not a Christian. I have no reason to defend them. They violently destroy our former culture and any of its. Like I said, Daniel Bavra is not handling this very professionally. In a lot of cases, I'm a Christian, and in the rumor when I heard that KCD was a Christian game, I heard that from Edemion. Now, I'm not attacking Edemion. For those who are fans of Edemion, I'm not attacking Edemion. But he has also joined this whole KCD's woke group. And he admitted to not playing KCD1. And as someone who played KCD1, you can see my playlist. I've streamed the game in the whole month of January. It's not a very Christian game. It has Christian elements, right? And I think that Jay Viper explains it a little better than I do, but I've always stated, like, just because someone slaps Jesus Christ or wears a cross doesn't make them a Christian. Doesn't make them a Catholic. Just because they say they're a Christian doesn't make them a Christian or Catholic. You will know Christians by their fruit. And I have a full 4.5 hour because yes, I'm shilling it, and yes, it is 4.5 hours because I go through not only GoonerGate, but I also go through the controversies of the Satanic Panic. I try to touch that a little bit. I try to touch censorship in gaming and the differences between the two, and going through history as well to show you where with Bible passages. Even if you're not a Christian, it's fascinating to know what a true Christian is. We're sinners. We're not perfect, sure, but we don't behave like this. This is someone that uses Christianity to justify their politics. They put their politics is their God. That's what their identity is. They're not living a life of Christ. Because yes, while we do agree that while in the Bible it does say Christianity is sin and this and that and the other thing, there is context on how we behave to non-believer. When we're against a non-believer's house, that non-believer is gay, we're supposed to treat them with respect and honor. If someone says they're a Christian and they're gay, that has a different rule set that we follow. We don't go after the non-believers. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to treat them like Jesus did. Jesus treated non-believers with respect, and the people that knew better, the Pharisees, the Sanhedrin, the ruling class, the ruling religious class that should know the scriptures that were being hypocritical, he called out hypocrites. And that's what he calls us to do. So a hypocrite we call out. In this case, because it was turned out that it was not a Christian game, now they're finding out all this other stuff. The news thing is, oh, you're hating Christians because he's doing the grifts. I also want to give a shout out to Bolsky, who pointed this out to me as well, even though I saw the stream. But J Viper also posted a video where Hans admits he's an adult at his age, therefore proving GFT and JDA are lying and are grifting to make money, destroying this game. All because it's an outdoor gay scene. Now, we all know what a grifter is, I do believe. But for those who don't know, we're just going to go with the Google definition. Grifter, a person who engages in petty or small-scale swindling. I saw him as a grifter who preys upon people. Now, for people who want to be cute and disingenuous, let's go look at the definition of swindling. Use deception to deprive someone of money or possessions, obtain money fraudulently. Right. From what we see a lot of deception, lies, and grifting from JDA, John Trent, to promote a political narrative, to harp his book, using a person's image likeness without their permission, creating smut books, and yet being offended by sex and games and sex and art, and panicking over gayness that we also find out he allegedly is possibly gay, but also a furry, and allegedly beats his own wife. So is that someone who's standing for Christian values when the Bible says thou shalt not lie? Or, as I point out, from his own mouth, and for people who don't believe it, is he exposed as a grifter? And he said, as he says, I just mute so I can get the engagement anyways. He just he doesn't care about people's opinions, even if they're calling him out or they're right or wrong. It doesn't matter to him. He'll just mute the people he don't like. So the people can just get engagement. He told it Tinker or York, as we discussed, is a writer for Fandom Pulse. And so that being said, this is why I will never use Fandom Pulse for my news articles. And I don't believe a lot of other YouTubers will as well. John Della Rose is part of the Kotaku journalist Gen 2. What do I mean by Gen 2? Well, when I collected action figures and stuff, they're like, for example, Transformers is a popular way of referring to this. If you remember the old school Optimus Prime being a semi-truck, Megatron being a sniper rifle, Starscream being a jet, fighter jet, the original 80s cartoons of Transformers, those toys were called Gen 1. And then the movie came out, the 1980s animated movie came out, and Rodimus Prime and all of them were called Gen 2, and so on and so forth. Gen 1 was Alyssa Mercante and some of the OGs of Gamergate, Urinal, right? John Della Rose is Gen 2. They're coming out to quote him. So now we've shown that John Della Rose does not deserve to be in any nerdom community. He is a grifter, a poser, a fraud, a thief, and a liar. So, if he doesn't belong in our communities, which community does he belong to? Well, how about the one he places first above all else? How about the one that he first attempted long ago? I'm not talking about back in 2018. I'm not talking about when he decided to be a writer. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about 2009. I came across this and I'm censoring everything I can because I don't want to dox him and I don't want to attack his family neither. Some people, unlike JDA, as honor. According to this, it says Republican hopeful John Della Rose dropped bid for 11th district. Look at him. There he is in 2009. The crowded field of Republican candidates seeking Representative Jerry McNeary's seat was reduced to 7 when John Della Rose announced on Wednesday that he was dropping out of the race. Della Rose, 27, said in an email that he was ending his campaign because his young son was recently diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. This time in my life, the needs of my son rightfully take precedence, Della Rose said in a news release. I'm not going to say the names, so you're just going to have to humor me here. My wife and I love our son and are going to do everything in our power to make his life fulfilling. Running a contested campaign against an incumbent and then serving in Washington so far away from home is not an option that would be fair to my son or my wife, and not one that I would even consider given the circumstances, Della Rose said. Della Rose was in Woodridge as recently as September 16 when he spoke to the censored Republican women. Again, I'm not mentioning name because I don't want to. So, I wonder, while I'm not attacking his family, I wonder if he's being honest about that. And we'll never, and it's none of my business. It's not. But it could be he was lying and no one liked him as a Republican. But all politicians that I've ever heard of, known, or been privy to learn about have lied, stealed, cheated their way into office. It's quite possible that he saw a way to grift into the gaming sphere from all this, with Gamergate, Comicsgate, and woke culture coming in, because it's kind of funny how he's always using partisan politics and a cultic mentality first. He has no love of the games. Using John Della Rose's own words. The rules you see here are SCWs always lie, always double down, and always project. They're trying to infiltrate our movement and subvert it like they have done in gaming. It's all part of their strategy. Read, get smart. So here, to use his own words, SCWs always lie, they always double down, they always project. And they're trying to infiltrate our area. So what do you think, viewer? Put your thoughts in the comments below. As always, happy gaming.
Worlds clash in endless collision. Gaming news with a fierce precision. With a spark so wild it breaks the norm. In the tempest eye of cyberstorm. Reclaim gaming and dragon cast. Fire breathing wide, screaming loud. Lavistro's here to shake the crowd. Psychotic dragon ready to hit.